All right, everybody. It is Justice for Comics. It is 10 p.m. on a Monday night. Just, I don't know, thought I'd review a few things that are going on. Hey, Z Collects, Perry's Comics. Good to have you. Infamous. I can't sleep. Yeah, usually it just depends. Certain nights I fall asleep early. I can be asleep by 10, 10:30, and then other nights I'll stay up till midnight, 1 o'clock. Well, I'm up early. I'm up early every day, probably at 6 or 6:30. Can't sleep in anymore. I don't know. Had a little energy today. I don't know why, but I just figured to kind of hang out, kind of review some things, see what's going on in the comic book news world. That's right. I was going to talk about that, James. Disney Plus is going to be premiering, I'm assuming at midnight, right? Is that when it starts? The 12th, technically the 12th. So I got to figure that out. I have a Hulu subscription that I've been paying monthly on. I've got the premium too, where you don't have commercials and all that stuff. So I've had Hulu probably over a year now, and I pay monthly for that. So Disney owns Hulu now, so I know that they're doing package deals. I'm just assuming for now, though, I'm just going to pay an extra, whatever it is. Was it $5.99, $6.99 a month for Disney Plus? Yeah, I definitely want to I want to get that going. I want to watch that Mandalorian. I'm looking forward to that more than the actual next Star Wars movie. I think it's going to be better. I don't know. I'm still waiting for them to someday do a Jedi. Like, I would like them to go way back in the past, totally no characters known, just completely, start over from scratch with the Jedis. I think that would be better. I don't know. And just have like a Jedi that like kind of dances between the dark and the light. Like, sometimes he's good and sometimes he's bad. I don't know. I mean, I think that could be a really, really interesting story, is to have a Jedi who just does some badass shit and just doesn't care if he has to dip into the dark side a little. I don't know. I think that could be really good, but I don't know. Probably being a little too optimistic. All right. So James says 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So 6 a.m. tomorrow, you'll be able to start streaming Mandalorian, I guess, right? I don't know if are any of you guys Rick and Morty fans. I did watch season 4 premiere late last night. God, that freaking show is crazy. I should pull out my Rick and Morty comic book collection. I've got, I think I have issues one all the way through 35 or 40. I mean, I've got a pretty big collection of Rick and Morty comic books. I've got issue number 1, the regular A cover, the first print. That's worth, I think it's like a couple $100 still. I've got my favorite cover is the Books A Million cover. That shows Morty with a Meeseeks box, and there's all these Meeseekses around him, like a planet of Meeseeks, which I was glad to see Meeseeks is in the season 4, episode 1. There's also a Kirkland Meeseeks, which I thought was hilarious. Rick and Morty. I have to watch that show. So I watched it a second time today because that show is very like it's easy. They reference shit all the time. It's very smart. Although I'm not going to say that those guys are that they created the concept, but if you look and see, there's like 25 people that are involved in the development of the show. There's more than just two writers. I mean, there's a lot of writers. There's a lot of people that work on the show, and the two main guys that created the show, I just see them sitting back and smoking weed all day. that's kind of the vibe I get. And some of the episodes, that I don't know, they got to be doing acid or something to come up with some of the shit they come up with in those episodes. But yeah, it's a really, really, I think it's the smartest show on TV is Rick and Morty. Very, very intelligent, well constructed. The humor it's very sharp. And I used to be I still am a Family Guy fan. I love Family Guy. Love McFarlane's humor. I think Rick and Morty is far funnier than even Family Guy. So if someone asked me what's my favorite or funniest TV show, it's Rick and Morty, but hands down, no question, no question. Alex asked me if I own any Rick and Morty books. Yep, I do. I think I've got I've got it in my CLZ app. I believe I'm up to, let's see here. I don't have the entire run, but I've got a big chunk of it. I got the Pickle Rick one shot, the Vindicators. Yeah, I've got 1 through 40. So I have 1 through 40 complete run. Not every cover. I've got a lot of A and B covers, but not every one. The one I like, my favorite cover is, let's see if I can get it in the glare. The Books A Million cover of #1, which is fairly, I don't know, it's like a $50-$60 book. It's got all the Meeseeks and the evil Morty, which if you follow the show, season 3 goes into more about the evil Morty. So, yeah, it's definitely a cult following. I was collecting it pretty heavily, and then I don't know, you can only collect. My budget didn't allow for it anymore, so. Oh, Alex is asking me oversized and hardcover book. No, I've got just the floppies. I don't have any of the trades or anything. I know you can read them they're all digitally now, so you don't have to collect the trades. You can read it all digitally online. But yeah, I like having the floppies, and I think the first 10 issues. I mean, some of those issues go for decent money. I know issue #1 does. I've got a variant of number 3. The variant I have #3 is like a $40 or $50 book. So a couple of the books are worth some money. All right, who we got in the chat here? Nomad 1966. Thank you for joining. I just subscribed to him, and he just subscribed to me. He was on the live stream, Night Tigers live stream, talking about Golden Age books. I don't even have a Golden Age book. So like Night Tigers, I think he's offered to have me on his show. And I'm too afraid to go on it because he'd probably be like, dude, do you even own any Golden Age books? I'm like, no, I've got a couple Silver Age and mostly Bronze and Modern. So I feel a little intimidated to even go on his show. He knows a lot about all those older books that I have no clue about. Just the average stuff like the Batman, Superman. I know some of that, but there's so many books from the Golden Age that are worth a ton of money and very rare and all that good stuff. Welcome to the chat as well. Big Dogs 275. What's up, everybody? We got 9 people in the chat. Yeah, Night Tiger has an insane Golden Age collection. Yeah, and that guy's, man, he thinks Hulk 181 is a book that he says he wouldn't buy that book. He thinks it doesn't. He said it's not worth more than $100. I just find that pretty funny. I'll buy his copy if he's got a copy. I'll pay him $100 for his copy if he's got one. But yeah, he definitely is more into the older stuff, which, yeah, it's probably pretty hard to find. Not only is it hard to find Golden Age books, but condition is everything, right? And heck, I mean, I've got a hard time finding Bronze Age books in really good condition these days. So, yeah, I just got a notification from eBay. High grade Nova #1. Guy was asking $90 plus shipping. Buy it now for $116. I don't know. It looks like it's in a really damn good shape too. I'm sure somebody's gonna put a bid in on it. I don't know if I can show it really good. It's a nice looking copy on eBay. To me it looks like a 9.4, 9.6 just by, casual observation of it. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's supposed to be in a movie. First appearance in Nova. I don't know. I mean, is it going to be that big of a deal? I think once he's in the movie, I think the prices on those books are going to plummet. I don't know. I just have a feeling. Infamous says, Marcus would help you get up to speed on Golden Age. He seems knowledgeable. Yeah, Marcus is definitely very knowledgeable in the 1970s, maybe late 60s, but mostly 70s books, from what I know. I mean, if he has a lot of Golden Age knowledge, he hasn't revealed that to me yet. But yeah, the problem is most people that were really familiar with Golden Age, a lot of them are dead now. So, I mean, I have a great aunt. She's got to be close to 80. And I remember her telling me when she was a little girl, she collected Superman books, comic books. So she had a lot of that stuff from the 40s. I think from the probably mid 40s, I think she collected. So I don't think she had any of the really early, I don't think she had anything from the 30s. So she probably wouldn't have had Action Comics #1 or Superman #1. But she probably had like issues 50 and up or 75 and up. But yeah, she remembers reading them and enjoying them. So, but yeah, that's the age group of people that really, were buying comic books back then. They got to be pretty old now. Let's see here. Fetal Ape. I like that name. Fetal Ape. That's cool. Welcome to the chat. Manny the Comic Collector. He's always on here. Yeah, we're up to 9 people. Not too bad. Let's see if I can share my screen. By the way, most of you are familiar with my channel. I do a Saturday morning review of Cover Price's top 20 list. So I was sort of subscribed to them for the newsletter, and I would go on their site here and there, but I didn't have a full subscription to them. Well, they reached out to me and they wanted to thank me for kind of recommending their website. So I'm signed up now for the full boat with Cover Price, and I just started like looking up. I'll kind of show you guys real quick. It's kind of neat how they have it set up. Some of you will be like, that price isn't right. Because it's just, I think it's just giving you general idea. So here's the Cover Price. So I just started putting a couple comic books in there, but I've got 10 comic books in my collection. So for instance, I'll go to Silver Surfer. I put my Silver Surfer number 1, 3, and 4 in there. And it kind of gives you a nice little, like a market update, current trend. What's the last recorded sale of a graded book was an 8.5 for $1,602. Typical sale. So this is kind of the average graded book is around a 7.5, and it sells for about $765. Typical raw sales around $272. It doesn't really indicate what that condition, what that means for condition. But it's kind of a neat little thing. You can hit this view market value, and it goes into detail on that issue. So you can kind of see here recorded sales, 9/8 sold between, you got a high of 36,000. I'm assuming this is in the last 12 months, probably. I'll have to check on that. But here you see a 9.8 graded, 36,000 as a high, low of 19,000. So that's a pretty big range. So they're saying sales average is about 27,565. So the number, if you're looking at, hey, I'm thinking about buying a graded copy of Silver Surfer number 1, it's kind of a good thing to look at the sales average. That's the price you kind of want to be, your target price if you're looking at a book. So like a 9.0 would be a good condition book for me on that, right? I can't afford a 9.8. Even a 9.6 is going to be pricey. But a 9.0, you got a high, that's a pretty big difference, right? 3,350 and a low of 717. So, why is there such a big gap there? So the average price they're saying is 1,647. Well, I don't know, I guess it just depends on how many 9.0s are for sale at any given time. So, I think it's really interesting to have this, and it gives you an idea in a very short pocket of time what a particular book is doing. But a lot of these graded book sales, they're just, especially on the high end, they don't happen very often. So you're not going to see a lot of movement. It's just a really cool looking way to catalog your books. I don't know. I just thought it was pretty nice. So I don't know if any of you guys are using Cover Price, but I would check them out. I reference, they do a market update, so I'll switch and show you guys that. So if you want to see, market price, they do like a weekly top 10. These are the top 10 books that are on the move right now. Some of these I highlighted in my last video. Unsound number 1, that just got optioned. I believe, I don't know if it was a Netflix show. I think it was a Netflix show. Amazing Spider-Man, Brand New Day. I don't really know why that's on the list. I'll have to look into that. You got Spider-Verse, Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Verse Part 4. Spawn number 1, Batman Beyond number 25. We all know why that's on there. It's the same thing why number 6, Batman 37's on there. Ultimate Fallout. So the Spider-Verse stuff, anything Spider-Verse is sort of moving because of that trailer right now. Spider-Man 2099 number 1 is on the move. I'm not sure why Red Sonja is on there. Red Sonja is number 9 on the top 10. I know that's her first ongoing. It's not her first appearance. Obviously, that was Conan, I believe, number 23 or 24. But that's her first ongoing series, her own comic book. So that's probably, you're kind of seeing that where people are not only collecting first appearance of a character, but then they want to also collect the first series. Kind of like with Moon Knight, right? Moon Knight number 1 is fairly affordable. It's like his 4th or 5th appearance. It's not, it's nothing. It's not a huge key other than it's his first ongoing title. But that's affordable book compared to Werewolf by Night 32. That book's really expensive now. So yes, I what was I listening to somebody talk about how I think it was on one of the other live streams. This guy had passed up a 9.8 for $3,000 like three or 4 years ago. He had the opportunity to buy it. He passed on it, and now that book is in the around $60,000 range for a 9.8. Which I don't know, that cannot be. It has to be inflated. Let's see what Moon Knight. Not Moon Knight. Werewolf by Night. Let's see what that book has been selling for here recently, especially graded copies. I'll have the facsimile when that ever comes out. And let's see if I can. Maybe I didn't do this right. Okay, so they do link you right to eBay. They'll show you what's available for sale. Looks like you got an 8.5. That seems to be the highest grade. And a full run. Wow. They don't tell you what the condition is. 7.5. Yeah, who knows when the last time a 9.8 came up for sale? Probably a long time ago. There's a 9.2 for $3,500. It's pretty high grade. There's a 9.4 for $5,750. Interesting. Yeah, I'd be pretty happy with a 7.0 or higher. $1,200. It's not too terrible. Yeah. There's a raw copy, 8.0 for $1,400. Yeah, so there's an 8.5 signed by Stan Lee for $44. So 9.2 seems to be the highest right now on eBay. Werewolf by Night. So very interesting. But I like how it'll kind of give you an estimated value of your collection. So I just have 10 books entered, and they're saying it's the value's around 1,945. Yeah. All right. See who's in the chat. Silver Age Dave. Hey, welcome to the live stream. I'm always checking out Silver Age Dave. I like his shows too. He does them in the morning, which is cool. Sometimes I'm doing some work in the morning. I just like to have it in the background. I kind of listen to it while I'm doing other things. All right, let's see here. I know I'm missing a few people. Matt DeVoe, thanks for joining the live stream. Number 2, must have missed the Spider-Verse. Mr. Negative is rumored to be the big bad. Yeah, I believe I heard that as well. So that book is on the move. Major Villain, it's going to be in the Spider-Verse movie. Yeah, Manny the Comic Collector. Yeah, I agree, Manny. The cover B of Batman Beyond 25 is awesome. That's got the Joker, the ha-ha-has surrounding Batman Beyond. It's a really cool cover. I remember I pre-ordered that book. I didn't pre-order the A cover. Luckily, I bought the A covers off of Midtown for cover price. So right before it blew up, I got a little lucky on that. Hey, Big Dog 275. Yeah, the Walmarts. I know the Spider-Verse Walmarts are a little bit on fire right now. I've never had luck at the Walmarts near me. I've gone to 2 or 3 of them before, and yeah, I never really find anything there. If they have a comic book, it's usually in pretty bad condition, and I don't know. I just not had any luck with them. So That's been my experience with Walmarts near me down here in Florida. Probably, you know, nationally, depending on where you live, that could probably have a big bearing on whether you get lucky finding certain things at Walmarts. But I wonder if that's going to be a trend if you start to see a lot more comic books being sold at Walmarts and Targets and things like that. Because I know, you know, Barnes and Noble doesn't sell comic books anymore. Heck, it wasn't that long ago. What was it? A year or two ago? Tom King, you know, the what was that issue? Batman issue 24, I think it was, when he proposed to Catwoman. That issue was hot, and I remember driving around to, like, here in Florida and Tampa. I probably drove around to 5 or 6 different Barnes and Nobles, and I figured out what day the books were actually being delivered. I talked to a couple people, and I figured out, all right, so I went around to all these Barnes and Nobles and gathered up all these issues of that Batman. I think I ended up buying, I think I had 12 or 13 copies that I picked up for cover price, and I resold. I think I sold at least 8 or 9 of them for about $15 to $20 a piece. So I made really good money. I mean, it was worth driving around, all that driving I did. It was worth it. I used that money to buy a higher end book. So that's one of the reasons I did it. But yeah, I still kept 4 copies of issue 24, and they're all newsstand copies. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, that was probably the last time I remember buying a comic book at sort of a retail place like that. Barnes and Noble. I think Books A Million, they don't really sell comic books anymore either. I think the one near me, there's a Books A Million that sells comic books that I can tell are like they're dumps from a comic book shop. Like they must work a deal out with Books A Million where a local comic book shop drops off, you know, excess books and resells them there. But yeah, that's what I've noticed. But real hard to, you know, just it's direct now. Everything's direct. It's your local comic book shop or online. It's pretty much how most people buy their comic books these days. It's not walking into 7-Elevens and Barnes and Nobles and Books A Millions anymore. I'm old enough to remember Walden Books. I used to buy a lot of my comic books at the mall. There was a Walden Books that always had a spinner rack, you know, of comic books. So, and you know, a lot. I was smart enough even back then to remember to buy. I always bought like the back. I didn't buy the first couple copies because, you know, people would pull them down and damage them. And I was always, at least even back then when I was a kid, I remember to try to find one that was in decent shape. Infamous says, yeah, I've yet to see any comics at the Walmart near me. I think my area is out of luck. Yeah, same way with me. I think when that Swamp Thing came out, there was some heat on that. I couldn't find any of that. I mean, I went to like 4 different Walmarts. There were none available. There was also there was another Batman or Superman book that came out from Walmart that was hot, and yeah, they were gone. Yeah, Infamous says, yeah, I haven't seen a newsstand in forever. I wonder if I've heard that like in New York, certain cities, they still have newsstands, that there may still be comic books in some of those spots, but I don't know. I don't know if that's just a myth or not. I don't know. I mean, last time I was in New York, I went to a couple newsstands and thinking I would see a comic book there, and I didn't see any, but I've had people tell me that they've seen them, you know, in major cities where they still, you know, had these huge newsstands that still had some comic books on them. But yeah. Silver Age Dave says, yeah, my Books A Million stopped selling comic books. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of I mean, I remember talking to a manager at Barnes and Noble, and they're like, yeah, we just didn't, I don't know if it wasn't profitable enough or whatever. They stopped getting them from the distributor anymore, and that's it. So, yeah, where do you buy a newsstand comic book these days? It's pretty damn rare, I would think. Infamous says, "Does this make newsstand more valuable?" Given its, yeah, I mean, where I don't know where you would find a newsstand regular comic book these days. The last place I knew of was like a Barnes and Noble, but I don't know, maybe in a big city. Big Dog says, "Nah, I'm in New York and I haven't seen them in those spinner racks. They disappeared." Yeah, I mean, I know in New York and Chicago they've got those in the downtown districts. They've got those newsstands that have tons of magazines. I would think maybe that, maybe you would find something there, but it seems like that's even gone now. So yeah, it's just, it's part of your childhood that's lost, right? Just like, when's the last time you saw a payphone sitting on the side of a road? I was somewhere and they had, where was it? I think it was at my son's soccer practice. And it's an older community park area, and it actually had the phone, the payphone booth and everything, but there was no phone in there. They ripped the phone out. I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, I mean, I talk to my kids about payphones and they look at you like, what are you talking about? A payphone? What's that? It's just, yeah, it's part of progress, I guess. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys that real quick, cover price. So I'm going to be sort of building up my collection here and utilizing it. And so I'll probably, and when I do my videos, instead of just doing it off the email, I'm going to go right to their website because, it's nice and big. It's nice and clear. You can see the comic book, and then I can click on the book and then, go into more details on that particular book, what it's selling for. It'll give you eBay listings. Then, it'll tell you if there's any variants. So it's a nice little resource. So every Saturday, what I'll do is I'll just go in and pull up this marketplace list, and I'll just go through the top 20 that way. And then there's also a new release list too. So if I want to look at, hey, books that are coming out this week, I can check it. If I maybe missed something from the week before, I can just click on last week and boom, there's everything, Marvel, DC, Independence, Image. It gives you everything. It looks like it needs to load a little bit. There's a lot. It's going to take a while to load all that. It's all those different covers. But yeah, it's a nice resource. I'm going to be using it definitely every Saturday when I do my top 10 and top 20 lists. So thought I would show that real quick to you guys. CBR. I haven't watched the new Scooby trailer. I guess they're making the new animated Scooby. Kind of has that Pixar look to it, right? So it's not really, it's animated obviously, but it's got that Pixar feel to it. What else is going on? So the Mandalorian, yeah, I talked about that at the beginning of the live stream. So tomorrow is the release of Disney Plus. One of the people in the chat, I think James, indicated that it's available at 6 a.m. So if you're up early like I am, you can start watching The Mandalorian at 6 a.m. in the morning. Looks like they got a special look trailer here too. I have to check that out. This was broadcast during ESPN's Monday Night Football. So look how fast CBR is. They already got it up on their site. All right, let's not ignore the chat. Let me go back to the chat here. I think I got your button here. Infamous says, I've seen eBay listings stating newsstand, but the SKU clearly states direct, and maybe you don't realize it. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I think that's pretty much done. I don't know where you would buy newsstand comic books anymore. So back in the day, I would say that there was a period of time where newsstands were way more prevalent than direct, right? And then slowly direct became more prevalent. Newsstands became more rare. Now you got newsstands are basically gone. So it's all direct now. Silver Age Dave says, no joke, I have a working Pat phone in my garage. Payphone, I think he meant. It's hooked up to our home phone and everyone loves it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's definitely a time capsule, seeing a payphone these days. Infamous says, did anyone buy the Shannon Mayer X-Men #2 variant? I did. I bought the set, the Virgin and Trade Dress set. It's a nice looking cover. I've talked about it on the on my channel a few times. I think Sad Lemon still has some available. Usually they're the last to go. Comic Mint and Amorphous Inc. were the only 2 U.S. Websites to offer it, and they sold out. But yep, it's still there. So Sad Lemon still has a few copies. The only problem is, it's coming from UK, so you're buying in British pounds. So depending on how the dollar is to the pound that week, and also your shipping is probably around the same though. I mean, usually Comic Mint's like $8 to $8.50. That's about what you'll pay. I mean, I've ordered from Sad Lemon. It's about the same. It's pretty close. It might be $1 or $2 more. It's probably not much more, but yeah, it's an awesome looking cover. I like it. Shannon Mayer's hot, no doubt about it. Everything he touches is golden these days. I liked it better. I mean, I know the other one that you could have bought was the Ji-Hung Lee, which I usually like Ji-Hung Lee. I thought that cover was good. I mean, I like it. The coloring is awesome. It's definitely a nice cover. I don't know. The Shannon Mayer one is it's pretty nice. I don't know. Yeah, these books. Well, I wonder when that fad will die. The Shannon Mayer fad. Remember how wasn't it for a while like Middleton covers were like the hottest thing, and now it's like no one's really talking about Joshua Middleton covers anymore. And I think it peaked right at, what was it, Batgirl 23 was the famous Middleton cover. It was a nice cover. I ended up I bought 4 copies of that off the newsstand, off the rack. Don't say newsstand anymore. And I sold 2 of them for like 35 or 40 a piece. Way more than I paid. I paid cover price for them, and kept 2. So I still have 2 in my collection. But yeah, if I'd waited like another month, I probably could have sold them for around 75 a piece. Well, trying to time that's almost impossible. Let's see. Nomad 1966 says, got to head out, but look forward to checking out more of your videos. All right, man. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for joining Novamad. And I'll be checking out your channel as well. Subscribed. Infamous said he got his X-Men 2 Shannon Mayer from 789 Comics and paid about $8. Yep, that's about right. And they're usually pretty good. I mean, I've had no problems with them. I've ordered a lot of books earlier in the year from 789, so they're usually pretty good. But that's usually how it goes. The U.S. stores will sell out way faster, and then Sad Lemon and 789 will typically have a few more left for at least probably another couple of days, and then it'll probably sell out by the weekend, I would think. All right, very good. Let me go back to CBR. So The Mandalorian, I think that's going to be really good. Also, guys, I think somebody has like a spoof of it's pretty funny. They have a spoof of let's see if I can find it, of George making fun of The Mandalorian. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, George Lucas. Yeah, it's totally not him, but I don't know if they got some guy.
This is George Lucas, creator of Star Wars.
I don't know how the hell they did this, but look at this.
Reaction videos. They actually couldn't afford to make
let me
this
switch.
one,
I'm
so
sorry.
I financed it. And now I got roped into this shit.
Yes.
So I guess these are the
Let me switch to it. Hold on a second, guys.
Life. There we go. It's another bastardization of my great work. You know, the original Stormtrooper design came from
yeah. That's not his head.
Tupperware. Look at these dewbacks. You know, you guys are gonna give me back in 97.
I don't know how the hell they did that. It's hilarious. Move like that.
It's like they're in a goddamn marathon.
I mean, that's kind of his head, isn't it? But it's obviously not him talking.
The whole Mandalorian armor comes from the Star Wars Holiday Special.
I love it.
Boba Fett first made his appearance.
But check out this video. I won't play the whole thing. YouTube will probably smack me for it.
Name. Look at that.
But you'll have to watch it. It's hilarious. So if you type in George Lucas reviews The Mandalorian, it's pretty funny. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to The Mandalorian. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. Here we go. So this is more. Disney Plus confirms the full list of Marvel Studio films available at launch. Yeah, so Iron Man, all the Iron Mans, all the Thors, Captain Americas. I pretty much figured that would be on there. Guardians of the Galaxy. So I wonder when they leave Netflix. Because a lot of that stuff's on Netflix still, right? Oh, here they give you some detail. Yeah, it looks like all the Guardians movies, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel. Yeah, here's the full list. So Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, Thor, Thor the Dark World, Captain America, First Avenger, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Captain America, Civil War, The Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron. It's pretty much everything, right? It looks like it's pretty much everything. So that'll all be available starting tomorrow for streaming, which is cool. So that'll be kind of nice. I mean, because when you want to watch a movie, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's on Netflix, but then Age of Ultron isn't. So it kind of pisses me off if you're trying to like watch a particular movie. You have to kind of figure out where is it at? Is it on Netflix? Is it on Hulu? Now you'll just go right to Disney Plus, and it's all right there. All right, sharing my screen again. Comic news. So this is kind of new. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for you Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans out there. Looks like Jinka gets her own solo miniseries. I'm not surprised. IDW has been doing pretty well lately with a lot of that hype. So she will get her own series starting in February, it looks like. 3-issue miniseries. Okay, so don't get too excited. It's only 3 issues. But that starts in February. Very nice. Marvel Zombies. So I did read the Marvel Zombies Resurrection. It was good. I thought it was great. I didn't think it was as good as Deceased. But I liked the first issue. I like the fact that spoilers. So if you haven't read it yet, you probably want to skip forward 30 seconds or so. I like how they used Galactus's body as a ship. I thought that was pretty cool. So did they fire something? Did they use his anal cavity as is that where they fired the engines from? I don't know. I just thought that was pretty funny. All right, let me go back to the chat. Infamous 415 says, I've been with Netflix since the beginning, and yeah, it sucks. I watch the monthly price go up, but they usually have the shows I enjoy watching. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I mean, the started out at what, $10, and or I think it was cheaper than that. I think it was like $8 maybe. I think I remember paying $8 originally for Netflix. I've had it for a while, and then it went to $11 and whatever it is now, $13 or $14. Yeah, I mean, Netflix has good shows. I like the comedy stuff, so that's one of the reasons I like it. There's always some comedy special, or the original programming is pretty good. There's some good shows on there. That Paul Rudd series was really good. What was it called? Something yourself. It's basically where he clones himself and doesn't realize he's cloned. Or it was a good show. I mean, it was hilarious. So there's some really good shows on Netflix. If they upped it to 20, I'd probably still pay it. I mean, it's just I'm too integrated with Netflix. So Disney Plus, yeah, I'm gonna go on tomorrow and sign up and start watching Mandalorian. I think that's gonna be hopefully a good series. Also, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans are bringing Shredder back. I think they revealed that in issue 99. So they're going to be bringing him back. Well, of course, they don't ever really kill anybody. No one ever stays dead. So Shredder in hell, I guess you can negate all that. So I don't know how they're going to spin it. I don't know if he's being resurrected. It looks like he's being resurrected somehow. Yeah. So if you're into the Turtles, that's what's going on there. The Shazam family is being infected, so this could be good. The Batman Who Laughs continues to affect the DC universe. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think of the Batman Who Laughs? Do you like him? I've got his first appearance. I think I have just one copy. That was a tough book to get. I think the week it came out, it was like a $30 or $40 book, and I should have bought an extra copy. I did buy one A cover and one B cover for, I think I paid $25 a piece. So I got a good deal on them, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see if he has any long-term staying power. So let's switch to Undiscovered Country. Here they're saying this could be the Image's new Walking Dead. Man, there's a lot of hype on this book. I don't like the cover. I don't know. It's kind of boring. So I didn't buy the A cover. I actually bought a couple store variants. John Gallagher did one that's really nice, and I think there's also a Kale No cover that I bought that's really nice. I don't know. The only problem I had with it was it's kind of like they're mixing Mad Max with Immortal Engines. There's a scene in the comic book where it's Immortal Engines. It's like this entire city is mobile. I don't know how Immortal Engines doesn't sue the pants off of Snyder and Soul for completely ripping that off. I mean, you guys tell me, if you read the comic book, you don't see the scene where it's basically Immortal Engines. It's exactly what it is. So how is that ever going to be developed into a movie? Because if you saw that movie Immortal Engines, which I didn't think it was a very good movie, that's basically what it looks like. I don't know, but there's guys riding around and sharks, and it's just very strange. Let's see here. Infamous says, do you intend on renewing your DC subscription as well? Yes, I probably will. I heard Titans is pretty good. They're going to have another season of Doom Patrol, which I thought was great. I love Doom Patrol. So I probably will renew that. Yep. I think that comes up for me in January, if I'm not mistaken. I was a little disappointed with Swamp Thing. I expected it to be better, and it was it kind of fell flat for me a little bit. Big Dog says, yeah, I totally missed out on the first appearance of Batman Who Laughs. Yeah, I mean, I think you can. I don't know what that book goes for now. Still, I'll look on eBay real quick just to see. I'm gonna say it's $75, $80. Just a guess. I don't know. It comes up right away. 2 times 12, so it's 9/8 are up to $103. Yeah, there's a buy it now at 100. 9/6 for 135 plus shipping. And Like, oh, I forgot there is that convention foil variant, which I don't know. Is that really the first? It's a reprint, right? It's technically a reprint, so I don't think that has too much value to it. Yeah, I mean, you can buy a raw copy, $80. Looks like $80. There's one for 80 plus shipping, so 85 maybe. I think you can maybe get lucky on an auction, maybe get it for under 70. So probably still worth paying that much, I think. You got to at least have one copy in your collection. Like if you don't own it at all, you need to at least get one. At least have one near mint copy in your collection. I was just going to see what the completed sales are. So not one auction ended at 96. Yeah, that buy it now for 80 plus shipping is not bad. There was, yeah, the foil, the convention foil sells for around 50, 48 to 50. Yeah, I mean, it's a key book. You can always buy the second print too. Second print, there's still going to be some value to that. A B cover just November 9th sold for $80 plus shipping. It's not bad. One sold for 65. Yeah, you can if you're patient, I think you can get it under 80. If you're patient, that's what I would think. But yeah, if you missed out on Batman Who Laughs, I think that's worth grabbing for sure. It's a cool character. So Undiscovered Country, as soon as I get the book, I should have this coming week. My store variants, I think, are on their way. I got a notification that they shipped them. I'm gonna do a full. I've read most of the book, so I kind of have it, the review down. But that's my one comment. It's sort of like it kind of tries a little too hard. I think is the only problem I have with it. So I'm gonna give it another issue or two to see if maybe it improves. I mean, sometimes it will, but I don't know. Scott Snyder for me, like I liked his Black Mirror run on Detective. I thought that was excellent. I liked the first and second story arc of Batman 52 that he did. I did not like the last couple story arcs that he did. I think it definitely lost steam for me. Witches, I like that. I thought that was pretty. So some of his stuff I like, and then some of his dark metal stuff I didn't care for. The dark metal kind of fell flat a little bit. I think a lot of people felt that the same way. So Snyder is not. He's not as strong as he should be. Charles Soule, I think, is better. I think Soule's a little bit better writer than Snyder. I know Snyder's got more recognition and has had more iconic runs, but I think Soule's a little bit better writer. Just my opinion. James says, I liked Undiscovered Country. Those animals that are the chopper pilot were strange. Yeah. I'll do my review. I mean, I'm not in love with it. I'm not in love with it as much as other people are. It just seems a little. I just feel like there's no way in hell that is ever going to be developed into a movie. So they got $1 million paid to them. Somebody bought the rights. I applaud them for getting the money, but there's no way in hell that is ever going to get developed into anything. I will guarantee you that will not get made into a movie. Because first of all, the wall and then all the stuff inside, it's a mix of Mad Max and Immortal Engines. It's just it's a little too on the nose. So I don't know. I just think I don't see it being developed into anything. But good on them for getting $1 million out of Hollywood. I mean, that's all you got to do is you come up with an idea. And this was sold before they even issued the comic book, right? It was already optioned before it even hit the shelf. So they did a great job marketing it. I mean, That's what they did, but I don't know. So here in this article, CBR is saying that this sounds oddly similar to another popular image series that just concluded. The New Republic founder Brian Oliver thinks it too, as he said, Undiscovered Country has a little something for fans of The Walking Dead. This comparison isn't lost on the creative team. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Snyder and Soule stated that they're huge fans of the zombie series and everything it has achieved. When pressed about the possibility of Undiscovered Country becoming Image's flagship title, Soule said, "We're not going to presume that it can be anything. We just want to deliver a really good story. Yes, it's a story about people walking through a changed America. You know, whatever." Okay. Our job is to deliver a hell of a story that has a strong emotional core that we care about, with a great team that's going to come out on time and be beautiful and everything, and that we know we can deliver. Undiscovered Country's creative team might be playing it safe on the PR side of things, but they must be secretly hoping that the series is a runaway success. The cautious approach is the right one, though, especially since it is still in its early days, and no one wants the shadow of zombie phenomenon hanging over them. Yeah, so I think it's a little too early to be comparing it to The Walking Dead. I think it's way too early. I wasn't as impressed with that first issue as I was hoping I would be. I don't know. James says, yeah, I did try a little too hard. It just seemed a little forced. The dialogue seemed definitely a little rushed. I don't know. If they spend more time on the story and flesh it out more, that's why sometimes you have to give a comic series more time. You got to give it more than a couple issues. Sometimes you got to give it 5 to 10 issues. So that's my only comment on that. So I'll do a full review of that in the next few days, as soon as I get that book in the mail. So I'm getting 2 copies, 2 store variants the covers are really nice on those store variants. So way better than the regular A cover. So I literally did not like the A cover at all. I just thought it's okay. It's a map of the United States, whited out. It's just boring. I don't know. I just thought it was boring. All right. Yeah, there's going to be there's a new character in X-Men 2. If I go to my Key Collector app, my Key Collector app will tell me. I always got to remember. I always forget to pull that thing up. X-Men 2. I know there's a couple. I think there's at least one new first appearance there. Where is it here? Sorry, guys. Just locating it. Silence is deafening. Like an X-Men. Yeah, I picked up that Art Germ variant of #1. I like that. Art Germ did a nice job on that. Oh yeah, so the first appearance of High Summoner, Child of War. So that could be a major villain. Who knows? It's definitely worth picking up. Issue #2, first appearance of a new villain. So don't miss on that. Again, you don't have to buy store variants. You just buy the regular A cover, but I think that's a good one to grab. All right, let's go back to the chat here. Silver Age Dave says, Lazarus, Old Guard, Lady Killer, those are my top 3 want to see done right. The Super Sons movie would be a #4. Yeah, I agree. Lazarus is awesome. I've got I have every single Lazarus book produced. I bought the entire run, been collecting it since day one. That is a very underrated book. That book should definitely, yeah, especially the A cover. That first issue should be worth more than, I think you can buy it. I think you can still buy it cover price or maybe $10. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's way undervalued. Old Guard, same thing. I loved it. I know that's being developed into a movie. I think I heard that Charlize Theron has been selected already to be in that movie. So I'm pretty sure that she's on board with that. Lady Killer, I don't have Lady Killer. I didn't collect it. I did miss that one. That's the only one I didn't of those three. The other two definitely. But yeah, I agree with you, Dave. That those could be great movies. I think the Lazarus movie, especially, I mean, that's perfect. Different factions, and the world's basically divided up in family. These 4 or 5 families. Yeah, I think that's perfect for a movie or even a TV series. It could go both ways there. Comic Kid 84, what's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. I know it's getting late, but I'll be up for a little while. I got energy tonight. I don't know. I haven't had any coffee. I definitely didn't have any alcohol, so I'm good. If I had alcohol right now, I'd probably be like, all right, it's time to end it. All right. Manny says, any pickup of the Marvel Action Spider-Man 12, 1 and 10? Yeah, geez, that book's, I don't know. I think those Marvel Actions are the John Bowen Myers, I think, is who did the artwork on those 1 and 10s. It's just one of those things where a lot of comic book shops, we're probably not going to order a lot of copies of that. And it's an incentive cover, and yeah, just things go crazy from there. So I think that it was the one with Venom. It's got the Venom face. See if I can find it real quick. It's going for big money, I think. It's like I think somebody told me it was going for like over $100. I'm not typing it in right. Marvel Action Spider-Man, yeah. Oh yeah, it's number 10. I think it's the number 10 issue, right? Yeah. Yeah, buy it now for $100. Jeez, $90. So that's the one that's gone nuts. Is issue number 10. But you can see the prices are starting to fall now, because I think it was well over $100. Now you're seeing it at 75. We got an auction there. Somebody have one bid at 50. Man, there's a lot of them at 120, 130. Jeez. I don't know. It's not a first appearance of anybody, right? It's just one of those covers. It's a nice cover, and I think it's probably fairly rare. Because I know the shops near me aren't gonna probably didn't order 10 of the regular issues to get one of those. But yeah, I mean yeah. So this is what I saw. I think the first time I heard about it, I was seeing prices around $200, which there's still one that's for sale for $200. Obviously, that guy's way off base. But yeah, it's a big book, I guess. Infamous says, yeah, have any actually sold though? Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Comic Head 84. Yeah, him and I have a similar taste in some of those keys. I'm trying to build up my key collection. When I got back into the hobby, I had a break from it for a while. I had kids. I was just focused on other things career-wise. And I didn't get back. I started getting back into comic books right around when Saga came out. What was that? let's say late 90s. So I was collecting a lot more current books and not buying as many keys back then. I wish I'd been buying keys back then, because there was stuff I'm buying today, just even a year or two ago, was just way cheaper back then. So Moon Knight, I always liked Moon Knight. I don't know why I never bought that first appearance. I mean, that was a book. Shoot, I was probably looking at that book 10 years ago. I probably was able to buy a high grade for under $1,000. And I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't pull the trigger on that. That was a no-brainer, because I had collected that that Platt Moon Knight run, and that book those books have been pretty hot. Comic Head says X-Men 101 has been eluding me. Yeah, that's a good book. I always look at that book. You know, that's a book that's really hard to find in good grade. Everyone loved that book back then. That's the problem. It was such a good book. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gonna the condition. I want at least a 9.0. So there's a 9.2 for 630. I'd be happy with a 9. There's a 9.0 for 630. Jeez, 9.2 for 1,200. So you could take the chance, right? You could say, all right, I'm going to buy a raw copy, and somebody's saying, oh yeah, this is a 9. Yeah, this is a 9.6, maybe 9.4, definitely a 9.2. I mean, this copy looks pretty sweet. They want $630 for it. Ooh, man, yeah. So it's just I that book I should have bought 2 or 3 years ago. I probably could have picked it up for around $300 to $400 for the grade that I wanted, and now it's like, yeah, it's outrageous. Look how expensive it gets when you're anywhere near the high 9s, 9.6, $3,100. Because it's just that's a tough book to find a high grade, and the reason why is because it was such a good book. The story was so good that everybody handled that book. I mean, a lot of people read that storyline. So that's why it's hard to find in really good grade. It was such a good story. Classic story by Claremont. It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's a book. I guess if I could get a nice 8.5, I might do an 8.5. If I could get a good price on an 8.5, let's see if I can find one. An 8.5 would be nice. $500, yeah. That's the cheapest. That's the cheapest too. $500. Yeah, it's a lot of money. 8.5 or 9.0. I'd be happy with either one of those grades. It's a 5.0. I don't know. 5's too low. 8.5 or 9.0. Man, that seems pretty cheap, doesn't it? For a 9.2, $630. I mean, to go from an 8.5 to a 9.2, you're jumping up more than 2. You're jumping up 3 grades, and the price is only going up $130. I don't know, Comic Kid. What do you think, man? I think that's a pretty good price for a 9.2. $630. I don't know. I'd like to find a raw copy for about $200, and it comes out like a 9.0 or a 9.2. That'd be awesome. Probably, if you're patient, you knows you could find that. You find the right. You go to a convention, you find somebody that maybe has a couple copies of that book, and they've got a high grade copy, and then they've got one that's a little lower grade. You might be able to get a deal. Who knows? But it's like anything else. It takes patience. All right. We still got some people in the chat, which is good. What else can we talk about? But X-Men, yeah, 101, that is definitely on my grail list. I would love to have that book. X-Men 94, too. I would love to have 94. with the new team. Yeah, that's going to be an expensive book. There's a near mint minus up to $400 with 3 days left. 8.0 for 1,100. Yeah, jeez. Well, you buy a 0.5 for $175. You just, I guess, what's the old saying? No, who's that guy that always says that? Low grade is better than no grade. I don't know. Silver Age Dave. I'm sure he has that book. I think I've seen it up on his wall. Says, "Oh my God, when I see prices, I'm amazed. All the years I resisted selling have paid off huge." Oh yeah, that's it. I mean, the key is don't sell. That's why I know my good friend Jim's Comics. He said he proudly says he's never sold a comic book, which I'm amazed by that. Now I do sell comic books, but usually I'll sell comic books that I bought that maybe at the time I thought I really wanted, now I don't. And I'll sell them if I'm going to use that money to put into a better book or something I really, really think is more significant. So I do sell books, but yeah, I buy way more than I sell, obviously. I don't sell that many. Comic Head says 4 to 6 is my sweet spot for those bigger books. They still present awesome and usually grow the most if they spike again. Yep. So 4 to 6. That's the problem, man. I've owned some really high-end books in the past, so my viewpoint is always skewed. I'd like to be there near that high 8, low 9 range if I can, but yeah, the price it's just so much more expensive. So, what are you gonna do? It's one of those things. Either way, they're all going to continue to go up in value over time. There's no doubt about it. They're not making any more of them, right? That's the whole deal. So, all right. Should I go on Bleeding Cool's website? I usually say Bleeding Fool. I don't know. Sometimes they'll have something interesting in there, but I kind of regret going on here sometimes because they have so many damn pop-ups all the time. Yep. See, look at this. Son of a gun. So I get all these pop-up ads. If StreamYard would let me connect to Bravo, I use my usually when I go on Bleeding Cool, I go on Bravo, the Bravo browser. It won't allow any pop-ups, but that's the problem with with going on the Bleeding Fool website. It's just nothing but pop-ups all the time. I mean, I've literally had to take down my computer before. So I always caution people, you're taking a chance going on that website if you're not going through a certain browser. I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to get off that. I just don't like being on that website without that certain browser. Silver Age Dave's, what do we have going on here? There's multiple copies of everything, and I want more of them. If I have 10 copies, I think maybe I'll stop at 11. Dave, you have a healthy sickness, my friend. Let me tell you, there's worse things to be addicted to than comic book buying. Comic Kid says, do you have a selling in-game in mind or passing on to family? Yep. I mean, I'm hoping to pass on my comics to my 2 kids, but I don't know. My son is not interested in comic books at all. I mean, I got it one year. I got him some free comic book day comic books, and he liked The Simpsons and some of that stuff. But he's not really interested that much into them. He's more into sports. He's into soccer and basketball, and he's way more involved in sports. And my daughter likes to read. I bought her some graphic novels. What's those graphic novels called? Kind of like Lumberjanes, preteen, those preteen graphic novels. So I think my daughter probably will be more interested in comic books than me, or than my son rather. So I don't know. Yeah, I hope to pass it on to them if they have an interest in it. I know my father had baseball cards, and unfortunately, all the Mickey Mantles that he probably had like, I'm sure he had early '50s Mantles. My father, and I know he had some '60s Mantles, and he gave most of those away to some kid that he knew. I don't know. He did keep some of that stuff. He had some old football cards from the '60s. I remember having O.J. Simpson card from him. Um, different baseball stuff. Early Nolan Ryans. I think I had some of that from him. So some of the stuff from the '70s, and it was kind of fun as a kid to get that from my dad. He just gave them to me, and I was like, oh, these are treasures. I just remember being enthralled by that. So there was a brief amount of time where I was into football cards and baseball cards, but yeah, I'm glad I didn't stick with it too much because I know the sport card industry took a massive tumble. There's a really good documentary about that. I think I saw it on Netflix. What's it called? The Baseball Card Kid, I think it is. The son of this guy that was like a huge baseball card dealer. He had like one of the biggest collections, and the guy went bankrupt or something. I don't know. He did a bunch of fraudulent stuff. There's another thing you have to check out too. That guy that faked all the signatures. He was like he could copy Mickey Mantle's signature so good that all the agencies, they literally couldn't tell the difference between this guy's signature and the real Mantle signature. So the only way they could tell was by testing the balls to see if the balls were actually of that date. Um, you know, when Mantle would have signed them. But of course, Mantle signed a lot of stuff right before he died that was, that was newer. So yeah, it was just basically most collectibles today are only worth money if you have something that authenticates it, and the authentication has to actually back it dollar for dollar for what you buy it for, because there's so many forgeries out there. It's crazy. All right, back to the chat here. Silver Age Dave says, I'm close to selling, but I've got a broken bone in my head. Nice. I won't stick my kids with a mess, but when to get out is always the question. Yeah. When to sell. You can't take it with you, Dave. Or I guess you could. You could be buried with your comic books. You have to be a huge grave for the amount of comic books you have. But yeah, normally we don't get buried like the pharaohs, where we can bury all our shit with us. So that it usually has to go to somebody, or you have to sell it, or somebody else gets it. Infamous says, "Yeah, I think I saw something like that, as well as card shaving to keep the edges crisp." Yeah, card shaving. That's the problem. There's just so much. I mean, you've seen that with comic books. I mean, there's a lot of manipulation in comic books as well. So I think with comic books, though, it's a little harder to do. With baseball card, it's just it's just a one card thing. It's just a one piece. And yeah, there's just a lot of forgeries, a lot of stuff that they do to try to gain an edge. Yeah, Silver Age Dave, he does love his comic books, man. He pulls out those ratty old comic books that have been beaten to death, and he even loves those. So that's love for the comic book industry, right? It's awesome. All right, guys, it's 11:20. I've been on for over an hour and 20 minutes. Just wanted to do a little hanging out with some of my peeps, talking comics. I'll be doing another one of these. I was gonna maybe later this week. I might do a live stream with Jim's Comics. He's been working a lot, and he did indicate that he might have some time near the end of the week. So that could be like a Thursday, maybe a Thursday or Friday show. So I'll let everybody know in advance, but it'll just be him and I kind of going back and forth, talking about books, comic books. And that I'll let you guys know in advance on that. So look for that later in the week. Thanks for everybody being in the chat. Infamous Comic Head, Silver Age Dave, you guys are awesome. Appreciate everybody's input. Manny, you guys are all great. Appreciate the community. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday for sure. I'll have my new comic book day video out every Wednesday, so look for that on Wednesday. Hope you guys have a great day.